Everyone, Dr. Rashid here. In this video, I will be explaining you the metabolism of some minerals in our body. So the first one is iodine. Regarding iodine, 80% of iodine is present in thyroid gland. And regarding the dietary requirement, a normal healthy individual requires 150 microgram of iodine per day. And regarding the dietary sources, the iodine is present in drinking water, seafoods, milk, meat, vegetables and cereals. Coming to the metabolic role of iodine, iodine is required for growth and reproduction, and iodine is essential for the formation of thyroid hormone, and that thyroid hormone play an important role in the metabolism of our body. Coming to goitrogen. So what is goitrogen? Goitrogens are any substances which can interfere the thyroid hormone formations. So examples for goitrogens are thiourea and thiocyanate. So foods like cabbage and tapioca contain thiocyanate, and this thiocyanate inhibit the iodine uptake by the thyroid gland. And mustard seed contain thiourea, and this thiourea inhibit iodination of thyroglobulin. So thiourea and thiocyanate inhibit thyroid hormone formation. So patient with hypothyroidism should be avoided these food items containing thiourea and thiocyanate. So iodine deficiency can produce as goiter. Goiter means diffuse enlargement of thyroid gland. So it can be either due to hypothyroidism or can be due to hyperthyroidism. So goiter means diffuse enlargement of thyroid gland. So iodine deficiency produces goiter, hypothyroidism, growth retardation, impaired mental function, spontaneous abortion during pregnancy, and it can also produce nystagmus and squint. Coming to this next mineral, that is fluoride. Coming to the dietary sources of fluoride, fluoride is present in drinking water, sea fish, cheese and tea. The safe limit of fluoride in drinking water is 1 ppm. ppm means parts per million. So safe limit of fluoride in drinking water is 1 parts per million. And this fluoride is essential for the development of bone and teeth. And this fluoride is also helpful for the prevention of dental caries. So fluoride deficiency in drinking water can produce dental caries. So fluoride deficiency produces dental caries. Coming to the abnormalities related to fluoride. So fluoride toxicity can produce different clinical manifestation. If the intake is more than 2 parts per million, the patient will develop gastrointestinal dysfunction. So patient will develop gastroenteritis, loss of weight or loss of appetite. There is one more clinical condition which is known as fluorosis. So in fluorosis, it is a clinical condition and it is due to excess fluoride intake. If fluoride intake is more than 20 parts per million, then it will produce fluorosis. So fluorosis produces mottling of the enamel, also discoloration of the teeth. There will be increased density and hypercalcifications of bones, and there will be alternate areas of osteoporosis and osteosclerosis. And fluorosis also produces genu valgum deformity. Coming to the next micromineral, that is chromium. The major metabolic function of chromium is this chromium mediate the action of insulin. So insulin, to produce their effect, that insulin should bind with their insulin receptors. So chromium potentiate or stimulate the actions of insulin with their receptors. So chromium deficiency leads to glucose intolerance. Coming to the next mineral, that is sodium. So sodium is a macro mineral. So sodium is the major cation present in the extracellular fluid. The major cation in the intracellular fluid is potassium. And this sodium is associated with water balance and also regulate extracellular fluid volume. And the normal plasma level of sodium is 136 to 146 milliequivalent per liter. And kidney conserve sodium and excrete potassium, and that function of kidney is mediated by aldosterone. So aldosterone increases tubular reabsorption of sodium, whereas aldosterone stimulates the secretion of potassium along with H+ ion. So renal tubule conserves sodium and excrete potassium with the help of aldosterone. Hypernatremia. So in hypernatremia, the plasma level of sodium is more than 150 milliequivalent per liter. It can be due to Cushing disease, prolonged cortisone therapy, pregnancy, dehydration, poor water intake, or can be due to excessive salt intake. And this hypernatremia can produce dryness of the mucous membrane and also produce excessive thirst and restlessness. And hyponatremia. In hyponatremia, the plasma level of sodium is less than 125 milliequivalent per liter. And hyponatremia can be due to vomiting, diarrhea, burns, Addison disease, chronic renal failure, hyperglycemia, or due to SIADH. SIADH means syndrome of inappropriate ADH secretion. That is one of the most common cause for hyponatremia. And in regarding treatment, the hyponatremia can be treated by water restriction, salt intake, or with the help of diuretics. And in case of hypernatremia, we can use replacement of water. Coming to the next macro minerals, that is potassium. So potassium is the major intracellular cation. So it maintains intracellular osmotic pressure. And potassium is present in food items like banana, orange, apple, pineapple, almond, dates, and tender coconut water. And the normal plasma level of potassium is around 3.5 to 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. Coming to hypokalemia. Hypokalemia means plasma level of potassium is less than 3 milliequivalent per liter. So it can be due to increased renal excretion, gastrointestinal loss, or it can be due to intravenous saline infusion. So hypokalemia can produce muscular weakness, fatigability, muscle cramps, hypotension, palpitation, and some cases it can produce cardiac arrhythmia and even cardiac arrest. Regarding hyperkalemia, hyperkalemia is due to plasma level of potassium more than 5.5 milliequivalent per liter. So this hyperkalemia can be due to decreased renal excretion of potassium. So this decreased renal excretion of potassium can be due to obstruction of the urinary tract or can be due to renal failure. And this hyperkalemia can be also due to entry of potassium into the extracellular space from the intracellular space. So potassium is the major cation present inside the cell. So in case of any cellular injury, can be due to tumor lysis, hemolysis, or cell necrosis, potassium is secreted into the plasma from the cell, and can be also due to redistribution into the extracellular space as seen in diabetes mellitus. So insulin stimulates intracellular uptake of potassium also. So hyperkalemia can produce fibrillation, ventricular arrhythmia, and even cardiac arrest. So that's all regarding mineral metabolism. Thank you.